So I'm Marissa Ehringer, and I'm studying the genetics of substance use disorders and related psychiatric diseases.
Yeah, Jerry Stitzel, and I'm at the Department of Integrative Physiology, and also at the Institute for Behavioral Genetics. So basically, study the genetics. We try to identify genes that influence, in the case of animal models, whether or not they're likely to consume nicotine by choice, or if they find it rewarding or not rewarding, aversive. We do some human work on human genetics of nicotine dependence. So there's a gene that's called ChRNA5. It's a gene that codes for a protein that is involved in how nicotine binds and functions in the brain and throughout the body. And we demonstrated, as well as other labs, not just us alone, that if you remove this gene from mice, they become extremely resistant. It turns out that this same gene in humans, so we have collaborators at Washington University in St. Louis, so we're doing human genetic studies. And we met with them several years ago, and they had a list of genes that they had identified from some of their human genetic studies, and that gene was on the list. So me and my former postdoctoral advisor, Al Collins, said, we think this is a gene you should really focus on based on what we found in the mouse. And so they followed up on that, and that gene, ChRNA5, in humans is actually the gene that has a variant that it has the strongest association with nicotine dependence of any gene in the genome. So there's
There are some individuals who kind of experiment with a variety of substances starting in adolescence, and they often continue using through college or, early young adulthood. They just have a much more difficult time with abstaining and stopping the substance use. And so that's kind of, the developmental issue. Yeah. I think those of us who are old enough are often reminded of like the Joel Camel advertising that happened to sort of make smoking seem like it was cool. And certainly the vape products and the Juul company, they were clearly targeting adolescents. And because again, we know enough to know that nicotine is the addictive substance. And so if they can get them hooked, then they've got customers for life, right? So that's why they're getting sued.